To order, please. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Aquaviva. Here. Dr. Anderson. Here. Mrs. Colwell. Here. Mr. Colson.
Here.
Mr. Kolar.
Here.
Mrs. Rosler.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Mr. Schlock.
Here.
Mr. Zuko.
I'm here.
Ms. Zura. Here.
Okay, thank you. The board met in executive session on November 26, 2019 to discuss matters of litigation, safety, personnel, and real estate. This time I'd like to recommend approval of the following minutes as listed below.
I'll make that motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sorry, I'm taking off something else here. There's a motion and a second. Where am
All those in favor?
I? Thank you. All those, I was reading the minutes a little bit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Okay, the minutes pass. This time we have some recognitions.
Yes, Mr. Fischel.
We're going up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to introduce to you tonight Ms. Bonnie Nichols. Bonnie is a senior at Plum High School, and she is a two-time published author with a passion for writing. Bonnie has written 2 books, Rogue and the sequel, Incognito. Bonnie was a state finalist in Reflections, and her favorite authors are Robert Ludlum and Allie Carter. We were talking today and Bonnie said to me, I have always loved books. My first word was book. I'd like to introduce to you Ms. Bonnie Nichols.
Thank you guys for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Can I shake everyone's hand around?
She can tell us her plans.
Oh,
So, I'm working on my 3rd book right now. It'll be out like maybe spring 2020. And my college plans are to study professional writing and library science.
So, do we have her book in the library?
Yes, we do.
Both of them?
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I just thought it was. Well, that would be good.
We're gonna go over to Mr. Dice learned to vacate.
Come on in, come on over here.
Let's get a photo.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Cook. I'm the head coach of the girls volleyball team. I had 2 girls get all section awards. I only have one that is currently here. The other one's not able to make it tonight. But the one that is here is a junior, Megan Bologna. She's right there. And Megan this year was a 6th rotation player as a junior, basically meaning that she gets no breaks. And she led our team as an outside hitter and as one of our best serve receive specialists in our game. And the nice thing about this year is we played at a much higher level than we did last year. We have a really young roster. We didn't have
And as they join us, I'd like to offer some highlights. This is in no particular order, just kind of how I thought of them. First, we have a district police force with an armed officer at each school. The new security vestibule command center at the high school. Additional new security measures at each school, such as bollards, etc. We have the new Alertus notification system. We've had 3 external safety audits. The implementation of a balanced scorecard that allows us to connect the big picture strategy elements to everyday accomplishments. The stadium safety repairs. We have a new logo, a new website, and a new app. We have the development of a strong working relationship with the Borough Council and the new one-to-one computer program. There's a continuing increase of district business transparency. We have the first balanced budget in 10 years, which includes closing a $5.4 million deficit. We went through a right sizing of the district. We have a new 6-year CBA for the teachers. We increased the bond rating and refinancing of the bond. We have a new superintendent, a new assistant superintendent K-8, a new assistant superintendent 9-12, a new director of educational technology and innovation, and dependencies, from what I hear. New director of facilities and grounds, a new communications specialist, a new athletic director. We have a new much needed roof repairs at Obelock, a new special needs playground at Pivot, a student school board representative on the board. And speaking of the board, we have brought civility back to its members at these meetings, which is one of my favorite things about it. This is just a short list of the accomplishments made at the board level and doesn't even include the day-to-day accomplishments of our students, teachers, and staff, such as the mandatory usage of Google Classroom, the use of Promethean boards in the classrooms, goal setting with the strategic plan, restoration of accountability, restoration of school pride, a new comprehensive process and review of curriculum, the parent-student feedback survey, an increased visibility of administrators, no program cuts, the Plum Is newsletter, which I relied on quite heavily over the past year, thank you, an $80,000 dyslexia grant, establishment of school department leaders. From the last meeting this month, the meeting a couple weeks ago this month, PSSA preliminary results presentation. We have growth gains in mathematics across most grade levels in the district. Significant improvement in science growth scores across the district. Significant improvement in ELA growth scores across the district. I found this very interesting, an updated school guidance plan process, and a quote from Michael Thompson, the lead trainer of the K-12 guidance plan in the Pennsylvania Department of Education Bureau of Career and Technical Education. I quote from Michael, "After reviewing hundreds of K-12 guidance plans in Pennsylvania during the past 10 years, I believe that at the Plum School District, school counselors have developed an outstanding comprehensive strategy for helping all students design a comprehensive career plan that they will be able to use upon graduation and beyond. I would like permission to post this plan on our website as a promising practice," unquote. There's continuing support of student entrepreneurial groups like the HP Makers and Center Grows. And there's so much more in every day that I don't have time to even begin to try to mention tonight. Certainly, this is not a comprehensive list of everything, but this is a good time of year to review what has been going on. These decisions were not all easy to make, and some, you might even remember, weren't very popular. But they had to be made in the spirit of what is best for the district, which is why we are all here. So, in the words of Mike Tomlin, the arrow is pointed up for the Plum Borough School District, obviously. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank Vicki, Jim, Rich, Steve, and Sue for their perseverance over their term, or terms in Rich's case, through thick and thin and the ups and downs that they endured, and for their individual as well as group accomplishments during their tenure. And to Karen, who stepped up and in when the district needed her, and who has been very positive and vocal addition to the board. Finally, to Angela and Scott, thank you for the support this year, and I am looking forward to serving the district over the next 2 years with you, and I welcome the new school board members and look forward to working with them to continue to guide and support our district so that we remain exceptionally prepared for success and plum proud. Thank you. That's my report.
Mr. Fuller?
I shared my thoughts with the board in executive session, and I shared what I thought tonight. So I'm just going to leave those words as is, and I'm going to reserve my time for the rest of those board members who I know want to say a few things tonight.
If I could say something before we move on, Mr. Macro, if we could just, I'd like to request that we put the president's report into the minutes. I can include them in the minutes.
I'd actually like mine for the minutes there, if you could. Thank you.
Good idea, Scott.
Okay, the student representatives report.
So, I got a group of students together who made up the advisory council, and we met with Dr. Highland to discuss kind of the school and new policies. And we had a very productive meeting, and we talked about subjects such as the drug policies, departments within the school, extracurricular activities, and security. Last night, NHS hosted Buy a Guy, and they were able to raise over $5,000 for Make-A-Wish. And on the same subject of Make-A-Wish, the 11th period challenge will be starting up, which hopefully will be able to raise a lot of money as well for Make-A-Wish. And I also wanted to say thank you to the current board members and those who will be leaving us for all the work that you do for the students.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. This time I'd like to welcome citizens' comments on the agenda items.
Anyone that is making comments, we do ask that you state your name and your address before you make your comments. You'll have a 3-minute limit on your speaking time. I will give you a heads up when you have 30 seconds left. If there's anyone that would like to speak, you're welcome to step up now.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on into the agenda then. Personnel Committee, Mr. Kolar, Chairperson. Recommend approval of the following personnel items as listed.
On behalf of the board, I'd like to make that recommendation.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Mr. Kolar?
So first, I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure working with each and every one of you. So we don't always agree on everything, but and that's okay. But we've always managed to work things out in the best interest of the students in the school district, and that's what's important. So thank you, each and every one of you, rather than go through, but thank you for your time. And the board personnel met in executive session to discuss matters of personnel and in contracts and medical situations. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Student Achievement and Activities Committee, Dr. Anderson, Chairperson. Recommend approval to accept the proposed 2020-2021 school calendar.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Letter B, recommend approval of the following grants as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Letter C, recommend approval for student B to be placed with Community School East through a 45-day alternative education placement agreement to be retroactively in effect on 11/6/2019.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. And letter D, recommend approval for the Plumboro School District to accept entry into the Pennsylvania Department of Education's Dyslexia and Early Literacy Intervention Pilot Program. The grand total awarded is $60,000, $30,000 for 2019-20, and $30,000 for the 2020-21 school years.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just would like to personally thank Dr. Walsh, Dr. Hershey, and the other administrators who are involved, because this is something that he knows I feel very strongly about, so I'm excited for us to be able to put this into play.
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Dr. Anderson?
I will echo the sentiments that everybody else has said. I've given each one of you cards. What I think is the telling thing for me is I have played many sports, I have coached many sports. This is a different kind of team to be a part of. And so I think it is, I will thank all of you, look forward to working with new folks, but thank all of you for teaching me how to be a part of a team, because I think that was really important. And each one of you did that in a different way. So I really appreciate that, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Safe and Supportive School Committee, Mrs. Rossler, chairperson.
I have a report. I go big or I go home. Tonight I'm going big. Dr. Highland? In 2015, I was the coach for the Plum Majorettes, had a daughter that attended Plum Senior High, and I attended many, many school board meetings. I was actively involved and I paid attention, which is what brought me here to where I am today. As I leave here tonight, because of this current board and administration, I know that with 100% certainty, this district is in a better place than when I first took office. The board members sitting here this evening have had to make hard decisions because we inherited many challenges. Decisions that I have personally made as a board member have not been easy, but I made them with the only intention of moving this school district forward to make this district the best it can be. In light of all the challenges we faced, the Plum School District has begun to emerge as a leader in many areas in the region. We have become more student-centered, we have become safer, and we made the right choices to provide our students with the best education possible, and one that will allow us to compete and surpass other great districts in the state. I would be remiss not to highlight some of the board's accomplishments that benefit what is most important, the children who attend Plum School District. So, education and technology. Every student has a working electronic device, 1-to-1 Chromebooks, 4-to-12, 1-to-1 iPads, K-3. The program of studies was revised, adding many more college and high school courses. Implemented ALEX, M-Class, CDT, which are diagnostic tools which efficiently evaluate strengths and weaknesses so teachers can drive data instruction. Created more transparency in the classroom using Google Classroom so parents, students, and teachers can work together with each other on student achievement. Our administrators, Dr. Walsh and Mrs. Sedlak, have created a process that empowers our teachers through the teacher leadership to rewrite outdated curriculum and create curriculum where none existed. Created a new app and a new website to bring transparency to the district. We also empowered our students and gave them a seat at this table by creating a student school board representative. Special education, we have an excellent special education program bringing more complex students back to their community school. Personnel, teacher's contract, a 6-year deal, more school days, more days for teacher training, controlled healthcare cost, more managerial rights, very competitive pay scales. A hiring process that is data-driven and seeks the best candidate possible. We have also given teachers, students, and parents an opportunity to be part of this process to choose who will work with our children. Number 1 in the AIU for the per capita money spent on regular education on a per pupil basis. Hired an amazing administrative team with proven track records whose salary is at the median or below those in the AIU in every single job category. Excuse me, developed a parent-student feedback survey that allows for continuous improvement. Hired a competent solicitor to protect the district and guide the board. Facilities, hired Mr. John Walsh, who has done more in 6 months than I have seen done for my previous 3 years on the board. I should have voted for him, I got that wrong. A special thank you to John and the custodians and maintenance department for all your hard work. Intergovernmental, developed a relationship with the borough with the common goal to make our schools safe. Safety, 3 external safety audits. Hired a supervisor of school police, hired a school police for every building in this school. We have active, implemented alerts K-12, quarterly meetings with first responders, implemented employee badges to include fobs, scheduled flu shots for all employees at all buildings and transportation, created a code of conduct for 1920, implemented Safe to Say Something, implemented safety and security website, locked the doors, no more prop doors open, reviewed building arrival and dismissal procedures, EMS participates in school safety drills, updated security officers' expectations and modified hours for a second shift, 12 to 8. Bollards added to all buildings, repaired broken lights, broken cameras, replaced additional fencing at center, fixed external doors that were malfunctioning, 3M security film for all entrances and exits below in windows below 3 feet. Portable gates for all buildings to block unauthorized access, portable handheld metal detectors for all buildings, updated EOP plans for all buildings and transportation department, school police in our classrooms teaching vaping, safety, accident awareness, and prevention. Purchased an additional 41 radios to provide better communication within our school buildings for drills and emergency. Each school police officer has access to county dispatch radios to contact 911. Applied for a PCCD grant, Part A, $40,000, Part B, $450,000. Last year we received $25,000. EMS participates in school safety drills and the borough police. Additional psychologists for the 2020-21 year, and developed a relationship with the, that's different. There's one more, hold on. There it is. Okay, completed the security vestibule at the high school, which is not just this vestibule, it's a security center for all the schools. Enhanced communication systems at the buildings to enhance an all-call system. Finance. The board and administration has developed a financial plan and has a strategic direction. We increased our bond rating. We have a positive fund balance. We went from a negative $4.8 million to a positive 4.5 in our fund balance, which no one in the entire state believed we could do. A formal review process for all purchases across the district, zero-based budgets. Auditors say that this district is the most transparent district they have worked with. Balanced budget for the first time in a decade, created a no cost to the district capital improvement plan, and have actual money set aside for those capital improvements. $3 million in the current bond, and we have an additional $3.4 million net coming in from the bond refinancing because of the hard decisions this board has made in the improved status of our bond rating. Sale of Old Regency Park. So in closing, 4 years have gone by since I have taken oath of office. All 4 years in my term, I have been chair of Safe and Supportive Schools. Safety is my passion. As I lead this board, I am very content with the progress this district has made in making safety a #1 priority for all the students and employees. We have created a strong foundation for safety that can be built upon in years to come. As I sit here at my final meeting, I am confident that I am leaving safety behind in the good hands with Rick Walsh. Rick, you share my passion for safety. You have a special place in my heart. I want to thank you for all you do to keep our students and employees safe. I will truly miss working with you. Before I close, I have some other people to thank. Dr. Highland, you are a true leader of this district. During a time when this district was at its lowest, you didn't see what was in the papers. You saw true potential. I sincerely thank you for coming to Plum. Mr. Sahorchak, you had to be thinking, what did you get yourself into, right? But we did it. We turned this district around financially. You're not doom and gloom. You are awesome. To my family and friends, thank you for your support. I also want to thank the many teachers for what they do for the students. My son and daughter have had some wonderful teachers here in Plum, and I thank them for making a positive difference in their education. I want to thank the members of the community who supported me back in 2015 for my bid as a director on this board for the Plum School District. I want to thank the mayor, Harry Slagle, Mr. Doyle, Mr. Dern, and many others in this community. You know who you are for your support. You have all been my rock. I want to thank this board for having the courage to be a school board that could make those tough decisions to fix what was broken in this district. My final thought, I am very hopeful that the decisions by the new board will be based on facts and not feelings. The hard decisions this board was faced to make has put this incoming board in a really good position to do really good things to move this district forward in a positive direction. I'm excited for all of you, and I wish you nothing but the best during your tenure. And that's a wrap.
Thank you. We need to back up a step. Dr. Anderson, there's 2 motions left off your list there. If you can see them, letter E and letter F. I'll read them off. Letter E, recommend approval for student C to be placed with Community School East through a 45-day alternative education placement agreement to be retroactively in effect on 11/13/2019.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? That motion will pass. Letter F, recommend approval for student D to be placed with Community School East through a 45-day alternative education placement agreement to be retroactively in effect on 11/25/2019.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone abstain? That motion passes.
Mr. Colson, one more thing. I get a second time.
Yeah.
One, I forgot to say that it was Vicki who stood at my front door and talked to me whenever she was running and said, you know what, you really should run for school board. You have some good ideas. So I want to thank you for that, number one, I think. And number two, when I was walking out of the building from a Wrestling Boosters meeting last night, I walked out with a handful of parents, and I walked over and thanked the security guard in the vestibule and just said, hey, thanks, have a good night. And they asked me and talked the entire way to the parking lot about how awesome they thought it was, all kinds of questions about it, appreciated that we shifted to somebody being there from 12 to 8, just wonderful things from parents who said, we have needed this for a long time. I'm so glad that we put this into place. And I'm not even sure they knew I was on the board. They just we were talking about it, and I knew where I was, had known some things. So it was just really cool. It speaks testament to what you were talking about.
Long overdue.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Schlock, chairperson.
Before we get to letter A, I want to bring up Joe Muscatello, who's got some good news to the board regarding the bond refinancing.
Okay.
Joe?
Yes, I have a handout.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, this time we really do have some good news. So for the last 9 or 10 months, we've been working towards a bond issue. And it, like I said at the last time I was here, right when we were able to sell the bonds, the phase one came through, or they started talking about, the government started talking about phase one, caused the interest rates to go up. And we weren't able to go through with the bond issue and save the school district as much money as we would hoped. We took a chance and went and tried to do a private placement. And we found a bank that was willing to give the school district a loan. And they were able to refinance the bonds through a bank loan, keeping the debt service payments the same. So your debt service is not going to increase. The term of your loan is going to stay the same. So how each bond issue that we're refunding was going to mature, it's still going to mature in that time frame. John beat up the bank a little bit on some interest rates. And bottom line is that the school district's going to receive $3.7 million, at least $3.7 million in savings. That's after costs. Then after reimbursement, it is about $3.3 million. So the cost of issuance that I'm showing are probably going to be about $50,000 less. So that's going to go back to the school district. But just in case there's some fees that the bank has that I'm not aware of, wanted to keep something there. But it's going to come back to the school district if it's not used. Then the BABs, the BAB bonds, since you're making the payment, you're going to receive a portion of the state's of the federal subsidy back, which I figure is going to be about $100,000. So when all said and done, you should have almost $3.9 million. About 3.5 will be given to the district up front for a project when we close on January 9th, and then the rest is going to be a reduction in debt service in 1920. So you'll eventually receive all of that money, but it's going to be in two different situations. But one of the big things is that this bank provided the loan based on the financials of the school district. They didn't care about the rating. They didn't want to see the rating, and they don't need us to issue the rating. And the insurance, they didn't require insurance. Just not purchasing the municipal insurance was $200,000 in savings. So now, this is only refunding 4 bond issues. We still have one more that we can refinance. So if interest rates start to come down next year, you'll be able to refinance the Series E of 2014, which is about $15 million bond issue. And that should save, I wouldn't do it unless we could save net after cost of around $500,000, because it's going to be what we call taxable advance refunding. So, we'd wait for the interest rates to come down. So that's something that could happen in the future. Tonight, CLIP has a resolution that can be passed. Once that resolution is passed, then we're locked in, and you'll get the money.
Right.
But again, I can't thank the school district enough, especially John and Dr. Highland and all the help that they've given in putting this loan through. Without them, we would have never gotten it done. And John did a nice job of beating up those guys. I'm going to call him on my next deal. And it was a real pleasure working with everything. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
John, can you humor me? Can you just tell me the 3.7, 3.9 in your 5-year plan, what the plan is for that, what that gets
Capital
allocated to?
Capital projects.
I can't.
It's a 4-phase capital project plan.
Yeah, it's not anywhere in the general fund. It can't be anywhere in the general fund. We don't want to use that money to help us balance budgets. The intention of that money is to knock off that capital project list that we've had. We had the help of Constellation design that capital project plan for us. We have decided to knock off even more of that work on our own. That's the intent. So as we go through this, we're going to continue to bid things out throughout the process, but we're going to stick to that plan with the hope that if we do this on our own individually, we're going to continue to find ways to save money throughout the process. It's going to take a little bit more time that way, but our intention is to use the original $3 million in capital project money that we have left from the 2014 bond, this bond refinance, and then the funds from the sale of Regency to knock off chillers, HVAC units, spoke through some of the other things, but it was roofs, rooftop units. So that's the intention, is to shore up the infrastructure across the district, primarily O-Block and Center are the two biggest priorities we have right now. But, we're also gonna start doing the modernization project soon. The work at Center needs done pretty much right away. So that's the intent, with this fund, and that's how the money's been set aside for this bond is you can't take out, you have to apply this to existing, capital projects. That's the reason why we refinanced it was that way, because it was for capital project. So when you refinance, it has to stay for that same intent, which would be capital projects.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Okay, start with letter A, recommend adoption of resolution number 11-26-19-1 as presented to the board authorizing the incurring of non-electoral debt to refund the general obligation bonds, series of 2010, series of 2014, series A of 2012, series B of 2012, and series E of 2013, and to fund capital improvements to school district facilities.
On behalf of the committee, I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passed. Letter B, recommend approval to sell and enter into an agreement, including addendum, for the sale of Regency Elementary at 4795 Havana Drive, Plum, PA 15239 to Jeffrey Morris and Assigns at a price of $825,000, and hereby directs the district administration and district solicitor to effectuate such sale, and to petition the Allegheny County Court of Common Pleas for approval of such sale.
On behalf of the committee, I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just have a quick question. John, what did you put in the budget for that sale of that property?
I had $750,000 in there last year to hit for the 21-22, so this is faster and more than we expected.
More money. Good, perfect. Great job.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Letter C, recommend approval for the administration to sell recycled end-of-life equipment to the highest bidder who meets the appropriate disposal requirements and criteria.
On behalf of the committee, I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Letter D, recommend approval of the GOB bills for November 2019.
On behalf of the committee, I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Letter E, recommend approval of the treasurer's report and food service bills.
On behalf of the committee, I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Letter F, recommend approval to enter into a contract with Davis Demographics for a demographic study for 3 alternating years, in 2019, 21, and 23, at a total cost to the district of $34,000.
On behalf of the committee, I'll make the recommendation.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
One further comment. The original proposal for this demographic study contract was for 3 consecutive years, and the board thought it was more prudent to do it every other year, that 1 year, every year might be a little redundant. So this was spread out to cover a longer period of time for the same amount of money in the contract.
Thank you.
I would add one other thing to that. We also, in conversations with Davis Demographics, knocked off an additional $5,000 of that original cost. And they will not be doing on-site visits, but they were able to do it electronically. And we reached out to the borough to make sure that they would be willing to participate in those electronic conferences, and they were. So I want to thank the borough for their willingness to do that. It saved us $5,000.
Good. Thank you, Dr. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? That motion passes. Mr. Schlock?
Yeah, I just want to say a few words. First of all, I want to thank all the voters that supported me, the last 2 elections. I'm very grateful. I couldn't have done it without you. Since I was elected in 2015 to now, it's safe to say that the school district we did a complete 180 in the right direction in the district. This board is the board that turned the school district around to the better. You know, this board's gonna remember for that. I mean, we inherited a complete disaster. We were elected 4 years ago. The scandal, financial crisis, the safety issues, but we tackled every issue, you know, head on. Yeah, and especially the last 2 years, we completely turned the district around in the right direction. The finances, we're gonna lead the new board with a pretty good financial situation. I think John would agree with that. And now we get, you know, we got a capital project plan, a four-phase capital project plan. That money that we're gonna get from the refinance bond issues is gonna be earmarked for that. You know, so basically, I'm at peace with all the decisions we've made as a board, you know, all the way from when I was elected 4 years ago to now. And I'm very happy that I was able to serve the students and the community to the best of my ability, and I'm happy with what the board was able to accomplish. And you know, whenever God closes one door, He always opens another. So it's the way life is, and happy to move on. So thanks for the support for the board and administrators. And I'm happy to work with all the new administrators we hired on, because you guys do a great job, and I have full confidence you guys are going to do an outstanding job moving forward. So best of luck to everyone.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you. Facilities and Operations Committee, Mr. Zuko, chairperson. Letter A, recommend approval to provide Plum Borough with the use of district school buses, 9, for the evening of Thursday, December 5th, 2019, for the borough's annual Christmas at Plum Creek event.
On behalf of the committee, I'd like to make that recommendation.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Letter B, recommend approval to purchase an articulating lift at a cost of $23,890 to the district.
On behalf of the committee, I'd like to make that recommendation also.
Second.
A motion and a...
$29,000. Can you read that?
23,890?
Okay.
The printed has 29, just for the commuters.
That was gonna be the comments. We already have that worked out, so.
Okay, well, before we vote on it, we should clarify
No,
that.
That was coming in the comment section.
Gotcha.
And so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Okay, the discussion was that we found before the meeting a misprint in the amount of the dollar value. And in fact, it's 23,890, where the printed version, if anybody in the public saw it earlier, was listed as 29,380. So that was an error, and we corrected it. And we apologize.
We're getting a dyslexia grant.
Thank you, Rich.
You should send it towards me, because I'm the one doing this.
Okay. You can have $100 of that for yourself.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Letter C, recommend approval to enter into a snow removal agreement with Resnick Landscaping Services at the contracted rate for the period of November 15, 2019 until April 1, 2020.
On behalf of the committee, I'd like to make that recommendation also.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I do have a discussion. I just wanted to put forth to the public. This is the same contract landscaping company we used last year, and I believe the rates are the same. And I believe last year, John, we used around $10,000 for all of our facilities. And this is not a typical snow removal. This is snow above and beyond. So our crews take care of everything, but when we need help, we call on these people. So these are the, I guess, fallback guys for heavy snow and ice. That's it.
Thanks, Rich. I didn't mean to run you over.
Sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstain? Okay, motion passes. Mr. Zuko.
Nothing spectacular. Everything else has been said. The only thing we haven't mentioned really is the fact that we have 2 new schools, elementary schools built that we did bring in under budget and on time. We do have a new transportation facility, which we sold the old facility and we sold part of the new one after we bought it. So I think we made out pretty good on that. And I'm kind of grateful, I guess, to all the prior boards who borrowed money to build our schools and do the things that they did, because now we're reaping the benefits with a lower interest rate, and we can refinance, and we can put that money right back into a capital project, which is what we borrowed money for in the first place. So it kind of works out in the end.
Thank you. Eastern Area Schools, Dr. Anderson, liaison.
Yeah, I think it continues to be the trend to just talk about that they have a lot of capital improvements that are needed. And just for those who don't recall, that it's a special needs school, so it's trying to go above and beyond on a limited budget. And there's a lot of things that are coming down the pipe now, kind of like we are from a capital improvements perspective, but needing to have multiple schools be able to come together for that. So they are having, beginning of December, I believe John and Dr. Highland received an invitation to go where they'd like to talk to superintendents and business managers about the lengthy capital improvements that are needed and how the folks would like to proceed, how the administrators would like to proceed with that. So it's kind of an update, not a fun update, but that's where things stand at this point.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ford Road, CTC, Mr. Rogers, liaison.
Thank you. Just a couple quick things. The enrollment is up 20 to 25 students over last year. The cosmetology, auto body, and supply chain logistics are capacity. So they're doing real well on the enrollment. At the Skills USA Leadership Conference held November 6th and 8th at Seven Springs, we had 14 students, 3 parents, and 3 advisors attended the banquet and the competition. And the Forbes Road students did an outstanding job. They won, took first place in the pin design, was by a student from Woodland Hills. And what will happen next year, every representative from the Western region will get one of these pins that was designed this year. We also won for the banner design, which was 2 Penn Hill students. And then we came in 3rd in t-shirt design by our own Natalie Nacera, a 12th grade student here in Plum in the advertising design department. So the kids did really, really well on that. And the last thing, I gotta get the name right here. Hold on. Bischak is recruiting and marketing outreach. She has plans to attend all the different sending schools, and she'll be here at Plum, at Holiday Park, grades 5th on December 3rd and 6th, grade 6th on December 10th and 13th, at Pivot, the 3rd grade on May 15th of next year, at a block, the 8th grade on February 26th and 27th of next year, and at the high school on the 9th grade on February 12th of 20. So they plan to spend a lot of time here at Plum because they know we send the good kids. And in closing, I'd just like to say that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the residents of Plum Borough as a school board member. It's been an exhilarating and at the same time a humbling experience. There have been serious times and events, there have been enjoyable and fun times also. I especially learned like serving on the board of Forbes Career and Technical Center. Working with those folks was a really eye-opening experience. And I've enjoyed my time on the board, and I've enjoyed working with the other board members. I wish everybody the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Intergovernmental, Mrs. Caldwell, liaison.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a few very brief words. I think Mrs. Rossler's comments along with Mr. Colson's really summed up a lot of my feelings, so I won't repeat. I did want to, as intergovernmental liaison, I did want to thank the elected officials who have worked with us at the state level, but in particular the borough level, the council, president of council, mayor, along with the borough manager and the police have been wonderful to work with and are true community partners. I want to thank the community for their support that they've given me not only in these past 4 years, but during my previous service on the school board. As everyone knows, but sometimes we need to reiterate it, school board is the ultimate public office as far as public service because it is non-paid and incurs many, many hours of volunteer time and a passion for your community. So I'm blessed to be a part of this community. I have been for 37 years. I congratulate the oncoming board members. I pray that God blesses your service as well as he did ours. It's been an extreme pleasure to work with this administration and these board members, and I will always remember you for your hard work, your kind words, and your true dedication to your community. So thank you all, God bless you all, and best of wishes to the incoming board. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Policy, Mrs. Aquaviva, liaison. Recommend approval to accept the revisions made to the policies 1 through 8 as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I'd like to make that recommendation.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Mrs. Aquaviva.
Kind of glad I'm last. I can just jump on everybody else's. First, I want to thank the citizens. And second, I want to thank the board and everybody who has supported me. This is a very humbling experience. And I didn't realize how important it was to me until now it's no longer here. I think we became a team. We've had a lot of tough decisions. We don't always agree. But this administrative team, all the teachers, all the staff, I'm very proud to have been a part of this, even though it was for such a short time. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting me and helping me understand everything that we had to go through, and for all the hard work, because everyone here, from the board all the way down to maintenance, I see a turnaround, and I see that everybody puts their children first, and that's the whole purpose that we're here, to keep our children safe and to make them have a good education. So again, thank you to everybody, and good luck to you guys. I wish you the best, and you've got a good group, so congratulations. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so at this time I'd like to welcome citizens' comments for non-agenda items. All right, upcoming public meetings. Reorganization meeting is at 7 o'clock, December 3rd, 2019 at the library at the high school. The budget workshop is at 5:30 p.m. December 10th, 2019 at the high school library. And then the discussion action meeting for December is 7 p.m. December 17th at the high school library. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, meeting adjourned.